Hi, this video is about Las Vegas Tango. It's number 5 in the Blues and Roots section of the Jazz Flute Grade 1 syllabus, and it's a piece by Gil Evans. I'm going to play 2 performances now, 2 contrasting performances, and then we'll have a look at my interpretation and analyse the performance afterwards.
1, 2, 3, 4. One, two, three, four.
In both versions, I played the head pretty accurately to the given material. And the given material, the notation that's on the piece of paper that Gil Evans wrote, is really dramatic. It's called Las Vegas Tango. It's based over a groove. The roots of the music are the Argentinian tango, which has evolved over time and become this jazz feel that we have today in this piece of music. And Las Vegas is telling us about the space of the desert with this really crazy active place in the middle with the casinos and the busy life. And so the head has all of that long space and the open space with the long notes, and it has the fast quavers and even some little semiquavers in there as well. So we'll come back to the semiquavers, but the head is played to show us that feel and to give us the style. And then we can use those aspects in our solo and in our embellishment later on. The 2 different versions of my performance have 2 different approaches. One has more space and it's more about the desert around Las Vegas, and the other one has a more direct approach, almost like a bullfight. So in the first version, I softened the long notes. I softened those semi-breve Bs by playing a little bit of vibrato at the end of the long note, and that's in bars 5, 7 and 11. Just have a listen. Whereas in version 2, it's a lot more direct. It is like the bull in a bullfight. Those notes just stay and they're big and they're strong and they go right to the end of the bar. After you've played the head, you need to do a solo break. This happens in bar 16. You can see there's guide pitches in a box. You don't have to play those notes. They're there purely as a guide. The idea is to introduce your solo, to link the head into your improvisation. Now in version 1, I was a little bit cheeky because just before the solo break, there's a diminuendo, and I really played with that. I didn't just get quieter, I didn't just reduce my volume, I also went down in pitch with that head joint roll. Did you hear? The glissando went right through bar 15 and nearly to the end of bar 16. It was the solo break. It's a pretty cool technique. It had its own space, like that Las Vegas desert around in our piece, and it set us up for a calmer solo. In version 2 though, I've got that big direct bull-like approach. I'm really wanting to stamp my feet and get ready to improvise. I'm ready to go. So I use that break to show the power and the excitement, and it's all quavers, just like in the main head, but with a quaver rest rather than a full crotchet rest, just to show the impatience, ready to go for the solo. Both solos are based on the E minor pentatonic. That's the 5 notes that you have to learn. It's one of your exam scales. I just play all the notes in a different order instead of going up and down. It's on the screen now. Both solos are based on a question and answer form. I'm using my own ideas. I'm completely creating the question in both cases, but I'm answering with reference to the head. I'm using the pair of semiquavers onto a semibreve as part of the answer each time, which links my improvisation into the style of the main piece of music. So listen to version 1 a little bit. There is a rising phrase as the question using E minor pentatonic, and it goes in and uses the semiquaver into semibreve answer. I listened to the same 4 bars of music, but from version 2. My question bounces off that energetic solo break, and again, the answer does a very similar rhythm, but uses different notes and still references the head. There's a change of chord at bar 21. It goes to the A minor 7 rather than E minor. Now, E minor pentatonic still fits. The guide notes in the box will still sound nice. But you know that a 7 next to the root of a chord in a chord symbol means that we need the tone below that root note. So a tone below A is G. In version 2, I really highlight the G. In version 1, I merge the notes of the A minor chord, that's A, C and E, as suggested in the guide pitches, plus the G, which is the 7th, with the notes from the E minor pentatonic. Look and see how many pitches are in both. We now have 7 of the 8 notes from Dorian on A. This is also one of the grade 1 exam scales. The only note not used in A minor 7 or E minor pentatonic, which is in Dorian on A, is F sharp. So I use those notes for my question before going into the answer. Both of those solos finished with a rhythmic motif to match the backing track. They're real musicians, they're amazing musicians on these recordings. In an ideal world we'd be playing with them, but we're not. It means though that we have the opportunity to learn what they've done. So I learnt the rhythm that they play at the end of the solo section, and I've tried to make my solo finish absolutely with the drummer. The effect of that is the crotchet rest at the start of the head returning is silent from me and from the rhythm section. It's a very loud silence. Just listen to the end phrase of the solo again. When the head continues after the solo, you'll be expected to embellish the head. You do not just play what's on the written copy, you include elements from your solo or from the head originally to make everything link together and make it your performance. The long glissando at the end of the head in version 1, in the first version I played, I repeated to conclude my performance. Just hear that. But also in version 1, I referenced the semiquavers from the head, and I just did a little jump from E to G and back down again at the beginning of the head continues section, just to put those semiquavers back in there and keep the drama. In version 2, I didn't embellish immediately. I waited until the last line where I did little flicks, little grace notes up from an F sharp onto the G. A little bit like the bull pouring at the ground, just keeping the energy going there. I also finished 1 octave higher at the very end, just stretched the rhythm out a little bit, put everything up an octave. Big dramatic ending for my bullfighting performance. Little bit of jazz tonality on the last note. Made it my performance rather than straight out of an exam text. Now we'll listen to both performances again and highlight on the screen the key moments of embellishment where there's been tone or shape changes and the main points of the solo so that you can see and hear what we've discussed.
1, 2, 3, 4. One, two, three, four.
It's always really important to listen to the original recording of any piece that we're working on or any piece we're learning how to play. Gil Evans originally recorded Las Vegas Tango on the album The Individualism of Gil Evans. It starts with space, it gradually increases the tango intensity by adding rhythm section instruments first and then extra horns. This contrast and conflict of desert and busy city is present throughout the whole performance. Listening to other instrumentalists that play different instruments to you can give us lots of ideas that we might not have thought of straight away. Gary Burton is a jazz vibraphone player, and on his album, Good Vibes, he plays the head of Las Vegas Tango with a lovely but really simple and effective embellishment. For a really great example of how to approach the solo, listen to the trombone on this. Mike Gibbs and 12 play Gil Evans. The whole album is amazing, but in their version of Las Vegas Tango, the trombone solo has a mixture of long notes and fast rhythms. He uses scale patterns and he has fun with glissandos and pitch bends. As well as the ABRSM Flute demonstration track, this piece is also in the alto and tenor sax syllabuses. Have a listen to these as other examples of playing jazz at a grade 1 level. They can be found on the streaming services such as Spotify or Apple Music. Gil Evans is perhaps most famous for his collaboration with Miles Davis. Fantastic examples of their work together can be found on the albums Sketches of Spain, Miles Ahead and Porgy and Bess. That's it from me with Las Vegas Tango. Stay creative, keep practicing your scales and keep listening to as much jazz as you can to get as many ideas as you can.